just, yes, no. They have sparklers. I mean, even if they were walking. Yeah. I mean, it was so that's what she did. People say it was
No, I'm sure.
I was high scorer in my fantasy league first week.
Are you?
Just, yeah, $150.
Did you see where people complaining that apparently that Mason, a guy who runs for 40
okay, 12 more minutes.
Anybody sign up for?
started last night in place of
So all this
McCaffrey.
Yeah.
nobody
And
wants to come and ask questions.
Yeah, I'm guessing.
everybody thought that it was a last minute deal, like
Well,
that afternoon.
And that's not what people said. This is
Just
just.
sit McCaffrey, well, he made a
Why is it, why is it?
He says, yeah, I knew about this on Friday.
Yeah.
Excited all weekend. Well, everybody's raising cane.
Because we do have to
Affects the fans, the teams, and the
establish a resolution.
Lineups.
And I'm like, it's fantasy. You have a shooter at the level of resolution. Now, there is a minimum.
We did actually, did it. I'm aware of, yeah, so. But we'll have to
Some of that sports book stuff.
verify that not as just
I don't know how they're actually doing this. I didn't read about it before you make consideration.
and then we have to actually approve it in
You
full.
can't, you have to,
And then everybody,
you have to announce your lineup.
you know, the cast of Misfit Toys chimes
If you
in.
knew that McCaffrey was not gonna play on Friday, you needed to say that.
Right.
As soon as you found out, you had to wait.
You know, it just bothers me.
And I told you, I was gonna understand that, because why would I care whether the Jets maybe start or not?
Right.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, but they just
Game
gave us
changer.
Yeah.
Jim is always agreeable. That's what we like about you, Jim. You're always agreeable.
McCaffrey.
Until I'm not.
Yeah.
And now, all of a sudden, when the
Yeah.
game starts.
And I never like to be on the side of that argument. I just don't like being there. It's never a good place. And I always lose, so
It can be
it's all
fun
good.
sometimes.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
Oh, I love a good healthy debate. But
So what am I agreeing with?
no, yeah. We're just being.
Now you're channeling me.
I've seen some of this.
Can't get all of there. I know I asked you that.
They're doing fine. They're,
I sent a bullet too. I was like,
Want me to ask you?
they're pleased with the guy
I'm
who's,
just curious, I mean, I don't know.
he might have closed by now, but anyway, the guy that's gonna buy the mill
Right.
and sell it for scrap.
Did you take a deep breath this last month?
Yeah.
There's still a lot going on.
But probably turn it into,
Still a lot going on.
shopping. This
Yeah, I
beer,
think that's
tap.
what they hope.
Oh, the after.
It depends on.
Oh, you mean the accountability?
Oh, that's true.
Oh, we gotta pay bills? Come
The paying of
on.
the bills, that's what I was
See,
saying.
they,
You gotta pay bills?
they owned half the town, I mean, literally half the downtown.
Hey, with all those
They
people
own
though,
lots all over
it couldn't be,
town,
can't be
and
too hard.
Did you put up that
They
picture
own-
that you have, that great? Oh, that, there it is, yes.
A lake and a dam.
Due to you.
They're-
I know.
that dam
We're
was-
thinking, is that room where your property is?
Huh?
Was that the old church?
Yeah,
High hazard dam.
I agree with
I've
that.
not seen that one before.
I mean, there was no way I would buy all that liability.
Right.
It was like a picture that was buried in some box and all the.
Oh, yeah, there's a ton.
I heard Robin and his team out there, they did okay, right? It's a well-oiled machine, and I think he can keep it going too, that's good.
I wouldn't want to engage in questions. Because we
I hate it when we have to wait like this, it's too bad, we can't, you know, talk about.
I think so.
Yeah,
We're still getting public records requests.
yeah, cool. Yeah, that's the way it's designed.
I'm gonna
A
have.
good mixture of plenty of older people, showing everybody, the new people how to come along. You're gonna be good to go, and I knew it was like
Our
that,
lawyer.
and so I feel good about it.
Oh, you're not gonna announce it?
Yeah.
I will.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. I heard about that, I talked to the fire department, I heard about all those.
But there's another one.
They pulled some people out of the water too.
Who is, I know, he's a big wig in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I knew that.
yeah, you may wanna go get those guys.
One of the things that specializes
I know,
in
Kim, he's on.
attacking the tower site. Nationwide. Right. But see, the thing is, they're just too late.
Just let them go. They're in the mode. Just let them go.
It was too late. They started asking questions.
It's funny.
Industry, long time.
Yeah, it's so funny.
That's where things, it's about 30 years.
Good job. Good. Same 2 events next year, you think? The early swim and then the movie head? Set up events doing okay? That's good, because we ripped them a new one, so it's good that they responded.
I had no idea.
We're gonna turn on, or they will, they wouldn't have signed up. I mean, you know, I just, I don't give them that opportunity.
They do all the
I'll
time.
tell you, it's been approved in that art yet.
Okay.
You'll make that up.
Oh, okay. Okay, great.
I'll defer to you and you can
Good,
announce who
good,
they
good.
are, but the commissioners vote on it and that's who they are.
That company's not what it used to be,
We will
but
not,
if they do the job, they'll do the job.
you will get in touch with them and Olivia and you'll.
I think we were hoping for the third Wednesday morning.
I'm gonna ask her to add me on that. It'll keep me up.
You can tell that, because they should put that on the calendar, right? And we'll get in touch with them and set up the first meeting.
Sorry, Jim. My apologies.
I'll be standing there pretty
Okay,
soon
5
anyway.
more minutes.
Oh, I gotta get the right agenda.
The ladies.
Ladies' room. Come on.
What are we having fun now?
No,
I said he's going to the ladies' room.
it must be cleaner than the men's room.
I'm sure it probably
Ours is pretty clean, I was just there.
You'd be surprised. I heard the women,
I cleaned dorms in college.
I heard the women.
That would not be fun.
works, really?
I gotta get the public comment sheet.
My sons used to have, they have 2 bowls, right? So I used to just to clean the bathrooms and tile floors. I just did they'd say, who made you? You're gonna kill us, Bob.
My brother and I had the cleaner on that. We had weekly chores. Actually had 2 bathrooms. One with my parents and one with ours. And then one of us cleaned one and one was cleaned the other, and the next week we rotated.
Well, I'm a big believer in bleach. I love bleach.
Oh, yeah, and my
Nice.
mother was too.
Hey, Olivia? Which one is she? Okay.
I'm a huge fan myself. Hello, sir.
Not very well, but you
Do you
know.
know which one she is?
No. So my great,
Which one is she?
I don't know. But here's the thing. I'm ready to respond. Do I have that one?
No, I don't think. She's the one who's.
Let me ask.
That's what.
so my great uncle Ben reinvigorated the health department.
I'm ready to.
And my great uncle Robert was one of the first health inspectors in Rowan County.
I always leave that up to you.
Okay.
My granddad
Use caution.
restaurant.
Yeah, okay, I'll just put up
And he first picked up his older brother by the collar and threw him out the door. And then his brother-in-law showed up to do an inspection and he literally punched him and threw him out
Oh,
the door.
yes, no. No, see, I don't
My
think we
mild
should
brother.
say anything.
But, okay.
What are what will you say?
Right. You said it's up to you. And is it just factual information, just put out correct information? Yeah, definitely. But Scott and you are both saying probably don't.
No, I'm just saying thank you. And she gets 3 minutes. Okay, so somebody needs to keep time. Okay. I don't think we should. We should not respond.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, I was talking about health department. Yeah, I think that's right. My great uncle loved the smell of bleach. You were more likely to get a bigger store the more bleach they could smell.
She's straight bleach.
So my mother, when she had a restaurant, literally, she would see the inspector come towards the door, she'd start pouring bleach everywhere.
Well, you know, so we're in hospitals, that's all we do. Now, they didn't determine it is injurious, particularly to old people. If they clean with so much bleach and didn't bleach gone,
Should be.
Yeah.
and that's why the FDA actually made it so good. I said to my boys, don't walk barefoot in the bathroom.
formal motion. Okay.
I said enough of that, you know.
Obviously.
I remember when we did that. We formulated the board in July.
Concoction of
July.
pine salt and Lysol.
Every time I go out and tour, I come back, everyone sends me back a picture of how they had a great time. What, everybody that goes on my little tour, they absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, they seem like they do. I might take it one day.
Yeah.
I just want to go cruise around in that boat.
I have not responded. I did get that email. Oh, and it was,
Are y'all ready?
Yes, ma'am.
I was gonna wait and
Wait,
maybe
I'll wait
just because it looked a little
Yeah.
suspect.
He puts a rest in his
You gotta watch Jim. Don't tell him what he's done over there.
Oh, okay. Okay, good, good. Thank you for telling me, yeah. And I'm not active in that club, but I can. Gave him I don't have my hearing aid in, I probably.
It's like, I think it was like something you could stick on a refrigerator. It said disabled boat, police, non-emergency, cell phone number for the boat. And at the bottom it had the LLLO.
I don't remember that. That's interesting. Okay, thank you.
Y'all ready? Good evening. We'll now officially open the Town of Lake Lure regular town council meeting Tuesday, September 10th at 5 p.m. We have the pledge. Please stand for the pledge and invocation.
We'll get with the invocation. Let us pray. Father God, we thank you for the opportunity to gather together this evening as we conduct the business of our community with our family, friends, and neighbors. Let us lead with dignity and encourage one another as we lead into the future for our town. Thank you for our emergency services personnel, for the dedicated volunteers that provide wonderful services for the folks who love to visit and live here, work here, play here. May we move forth and lead into this beautiful fall season and enjoy the wonder that is your natural beauty. Thank you for everything that you do for us. Grace and mercy upon us all. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yes, ma'am, you're welcome.
Well, welcome. Thank you all for coming. Are there any additions, edits to the agenda, or do I have a motion to adopt the agenda as posted?
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion we adopt the agenda as posted.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Then the agenda is unanimously accepted as posted. We will move on to the next item, which is the mayor's communication. So thank you all again for coming. We appreciate it. It's good to have everybody here. Just a couple of things I did want to bring up, and that is, it is time again for our semi-annual roundtable, which we will have, I think we mentioned at the last meeting. And the first roundtable meeting, we always have one at Rumbling Ball and then one on this side of the lake, so we can keep people from having to drive so far since in the evening. And Tuesday, 9/17, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., it will be at the Terrace Legends at Rumbling Bald. So you certainly can attend that one if you wish. The one here in the town hall will be on Thursday, the 19th, from 6 to 8. So nobody is prohibited from going to the other ones. We're just trying to make it as easily accessible for everybody. It's an opportunity for you to ask any questions. We know that this venue, the town council meeting, is really not a format where there's communication between the people in the audience, and so we try to do this. We'll be presenting some of the, briefly presenting some of the things that are going on in the town that we're working on right now, that we're accomplishing, where we're going with certain things, and then an opportunity for you to ask any questions about town matters that you would like to, so we invite you all to come. So that's all for that. We will move on then to the town manager's communication. Ms. Stuman.
Yes. So as we continue to work with Lobella Associates to find a more cost-effective way to replace our sewer system, we're looking at holding a community forum with them in October. It'll be probably towards the end of that, and it'll just be about the status of the sewer system. So whenever we do set a date for that, be sure to check our website, and I'm sure we'll announce it at meetings as well. So look forward to doing that. The reservoir drain project is moving forward on schedule, and the next major step is the delivery and installation of the knife gate valve. At our September work session, Steve Ford will be providing a quarterly finance update. We're also preparing for our mid-year review in December, and then we're also looking for planning in the next fiscal year already. So it's hard to believe it's coming up, but we are already planning for that. I wanted to thank Winnie Terry, Chase Harris, and the Public Works crew for the fall decorations you'll see up front and outside so far. I think we have a little bit more to do, but they've done a wonderful job, and we're hoping that y'all can enjoy it as we go through the season. And then in the meantime, Laura Creepy and the holiday lighting team is working on some stuff for the holiday season. So some upcoming events. There's Fishing with the Ranger on September 15th. Mayor Pritchett already announced the roundtable meetings. There's the Rutherford County Library System Bookmobile on September 27th. And then, of course, farmers markets on Fridays from 4 to 7. And then we also got confirmation from our concessionaires that the next, for 4th of July, Rumbling Bald will be holding theirs on the 4th, and Lake Lure Tours will be holding theirs on the beach on the 5th of July this year. And as always, my full meeting packet is in the, my full report is in the meeting packet.
Thank you very much. As always, we accomplished an amazing amount in just 1 month since the last meeting. We'll then move on to the next item, which is our council liaison reports and comments. Commissioner Doster?
Yes, ma'am, thank you. The Zoning and Planning Board met to review a recommendation for special use permit for 2 new public works buildings for the green space. We'll go kind of up behind the current Parks and Rec building up on the top up there where the old driving range used to be. Those are something that we needed dramatically. We need to get them out from behind the arcade building over here and make a better use of that area as far as our plans go for the future, for shopping, for whatever we want to do. You guys know we have new owners now of the Lake Lure Inn. They also own the arcade center as well. So that leads us to start to process some of that area and get Public Works out from back there, which probably should have never been there to begin with, but here we are. We'll be moving those guys. We'll start on those buildings soon. They did approve the designs of the building. The property is zoned general use, and the board did vote to not approve the plan based on the fact that it was a recreation on the master plan, but as you guys all know, a master plan is for us to work from. We're not bound by it, and that is a government used property, so we wanted to make sure that we're getting the best fit out of that. There'll be landscaping, we'll do a lot of stuff over there, so there'll be a lot for that coming in the future. The Board of Adjustments, which David will talk about, they did approve the plan for it. So just want to let you guys know that. Also began conversations on the new proposed NC legislation regarding regulating signage. And we are beginning to review the town ordinances, how they play into what's going on with the NC legislature, and the discussion will continue on that. We just kind of touched on that at that meeting. Also note that we will have an open position on that board for starting in 25. We have one member who his term will expire in 25, and he will be leaving the board. So he's been on the board for a number of years, and we really appreciate Dave Keenan. But he will stay on until the end of the year. So everybody, if you're interested, please go on the website. You can pull the form off, fill it out, send it to Elba, and she will get it in the queue, and that'll give us the opportunity to get some names. ABC, pretty impressive. The store, you guys know we moved it a little while back, but we just completed our year-end audit. And the net sales of the store increased 4% over last year. This year's sales, gave $7,700 to alcohol education and rehabilitation, $5,500 to our law enforcement, and $54,000 to the municipal kitty from that store. So lest you not think the ABC store doesn't provide anything back to the town. That's how the money is distributed. I thought that was fantastic. $54,000 is unusual. That's a lot more than a normal year, but I think you probably can maybe go with about half of that going in the future. That's kind of what they're basing this year's forecast off of and budget. The auditor was extremely complimentary of the staff, the store. She spent hardly any time in the building. Usually she has to go in and, you know, it can vary whether they're doing, and she was in and out in no time, and she was very complimentary of the organization, the inventory, and all that. So I want to thank the manager, the assistant manager, the staff, the ABC board, which is made up of volunteers, town folk just like you guys, and also our financial officer. They kept this thing running really tight for the last year, and that's where we are for those reasons. So I want to thank them, and that is all I have.
And I would like to thank Commissioner Doster, who is the council liaison for the ABC board, and he certainly has been a huge part of why everything has come together so well. But we are just thrilled that we are in the position that we're in now. We truly are. So thank you very much, Scott.
Sure.
All right, Commissioner Diorio.
Thank you, Mayor. Lake Advisory Board reported out at the Marine Commission. I'll go into the Board of Adjustment. As Commissioner Doster mentioned, special use permit was granted for the Public Works Warehouse facility, which will go greatly to facilitate our infrastructure improvement plan going forward. New owners as of June in the old Memorial Highway Train Museum, remember that building? The BOA looked at it as a change of use and took a look at parking. Parking's kind of an issue at that little building. Come to find out, the DOT was kind of reapproved the parking framework that's there already as being acceptable, and the Board of Adjustment agreed. So those new owners have a green light to put what they consider to be family-friendly activities in that building. And I think that there's a myriad of things that could go in there. It sounds really good. Can't wait to see what they put in there. But they have a green light to be able to use that whole structure there for those kind of activities. So that we have something to look forward to there. Hawthorne Drive, all the land disturbances and issues that were associated with the new house that's going up on Hawthorne Drive. Remember, that was the one that kind of undercut the road up there. They've gotten they're conforming with the existing permits, and they've done a lot of work to stabilize that whole embankment. So I would classify it, and BOA looked at it as being absolutely stable, moving forward, doing everything they say that they're going to do. So I don't think that's an issue anymore going forward. And our community development team is looking at that frequently to make sure that they are conforming. There had to be some adjustments had to be made for the erosion control, but it's totally under control, and the BOA reviewed it. And that concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Proctor, Parks and Recs.
Park and Rec met last Thursday. Biggest news, we have a new, basically the lake officer, Adam Nix. He was at the meeting and well-spoken, good to see. Last month, we had 109 volunteer hours, but that does not include the Flowering Bridge. It does not include the Carolina Climbing Coalition and some other groups that do work that's not accounted for. So it's easily more than double that. Speaking of that, that same day there was a work day. September 12th coming up, there's a work day at Weed Patch Trail, and September 19th another work day starting at 9 a.m. at Buffalo Creek. And the town is upgrading the trail maps and have started putting those out. So anyway, if anybody wants to volunteer with the other folks, feel free, and we appreciate it. And it's always exciting to see how many folks actually do that. Now, the other thing, We did spend a lot of time, again, talking about upgrading the comprehensive plan. I anticipate having a first draft of a survey at the next meeting. That doesn't mean it'll be ready, but
Right.
it's
First look.
they're well on their way.
Good,
That's
that's
what I
good
have.
news. All right, thank you, and,
And I'll reserve my comments for new business
okay.
tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah, I'll hold
absolutely.
until we get to new business this evening. Thank you.
So we'll move on to our next section, which is public comment, and there was only one person who signed up. That does not mean that you can't speak if you came in after we collected this sheet. But after this person speaks, if you would like to speak, you're certainly welcome to come up to the podium, state your name and your address, and each person has 3 minutes to make their comments. So just wait until that person is finished and then come up if you would like to speak. The only person who has signed up is Holly Jensen. Yes. And that little hourglass will tell you 3 minutes. Kind of hard to keep track on your phone.
Real sophisticated.
Yeah.
All right, hi,
Very
I'm Holly
visual.
Jensen. Hi, Mr. Morgan. 218 Boys Camp Road. And I just wanted to speak briefly regarding the cell tower project. My neighbors and I sent a letter to the town on July 5th. And we're a little bit more than 2 months after that now, and we have yet to receive any type of substantive response from the town. We had listed out a bunch of concerns that we had about the legal process for that project. And I've had 2 brief conversations with Mr. Morgan, but the last one occurred on August 13th. He was due to meet with you that evening and was going to update me the next day or in the next couple of days. And I've left several messages. He and I have not connected yet. And that's not because I haven't tried to get a hold of him. Not trying to throw him under the bus, that's just the facts we're dealing with. My neighbors and I would really like to work with the town to find an alternate location for this cell tower. That's our main goal. We want the cell tower, we just don't want it right where you have it planned, so we would love to work with you guys. But we can't do that if there's no dialogue and no communication. So we would ask for more communication, and we would really like a substantive response to our letter by next Friday, please. That gives you plenty of time. You've had plenty of time, and that's a little bit extra, so we really appreciate it. Thank you for letting me talk today.
Thank you.
Okay.
Is there anyone else? Wait.
Good evening, Wade Opliger with Lake Lure Rowing and Lake Lure Active Outdoor Center
Your address, just for the record,
from Bat Cave. Is that, yeah,
wherever it is.
180 Riverside Drive in Bat Cave. Hi, I have spent the summer standing by the marina and on hot asphalt and watching what goes on. And I wanted to propose or ask if there might be space to revisit the beach open and close policy. There was a change made, I guess, I was actually told that it used to be open all year round and everybody could go on the beach, but there was a change made so that once we got past the first week of August, it was closed on weekdays. There's kind of a trickle-down effect, and one of them is the fact that that's the bathroom for the Pool Creek Park area and that whole side of town. So once the beach is closed down, there's no bathroom access anywhere, which puts a lot of pressure on the private businesses. It's an awkward position where you want to accommodate tourists and guests. On the other hand, it's not necessarily the job of those businesses to be a janitorial service for a public place. But more importantly, I mean, I spent a lot of August and a lot of the last week or so apologizing for the town to people who kind of like family vacation, you know, they got their kids all jacked up and they're in the car with all their expectations and they get to Wally World and it's closed. That it was hard to communicate, and we actually had one Saturday, which was probably one of the busiest days in town all summer, and the beach was closed due to staffing issues. Personally, I was a benefit of that because people didn't know what else to do other than take kayaks out or something like that. But it's tragic, and it worries me and some of us who have to rely on the tourist business, because I think some of those people will decide not to try to come back to Lake Lure because they simply won't have any reliability on what might be going on in town. So I just hope maybe that's a discussion that could be had about trying to keep the beach open a little longer. And I mean, the weather's still phenomenally beautiful, and this was an absolutely spectacular weekend, and the beach was closed, so that's it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Is there anyone, Mo?
Mobay, 193 Deer Trail. I just wanted to respond to Commissioner Proctor's question about volunteer hours. So the Lake Lure Flowering Bridge Board met yesterday, and we are endeavoring to get you volunteer hours. So we have 40 volunteers plus our board, and everybody works different days. But we're going to try and get you numbers by the time this council meets next month, just to tell you.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
And it will at least double what you've got there.
Oh, no, sure.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Is there anyone else who would, yes, please come up.
I'm Kathy Hatfield, 125 Falcon Way, and I happen to be the chair of the Lake Advisory Board. And I just wanted to make a request that this year, actually starting in December of last year, the council made a small change to the reporting, the council liaison reporting, and moved, whenever there was a Marine Commission meeting, moved the LAB reporting to the Marine Commission meeting. Well, I was one of 3 citizens tonight at the Marine Commission meeting, and nobody comes to those meetings, nobody reads the minutes, and I'd like the council to consider moving those reports back to the regular council meeting on the months that they occur.
Or we
Thank
could
you.
possibly do it in both.
Maybe do both. But yeah, I think that information should be shared with the bigger population.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? We thank you for your comments as always. That helps us know more of what people are feeling, so we appreciate it. We will move on then to the next item, which is our consent agenda. Having had an opportunity to review that, do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Go ahead.
Okay. Madam Mayor, make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then the consent agenda is approved unanimously. We have no unfinished business. We'll move on to new business. The first item, A, request to move tree within elevation of the 995-foot and trunk buffer. And I will turn that over to either you or Mike Williams.
Mike Williams.
Mike Williams, lucky you, Mike.
Good evening, sir.
Madam Mayor, thank you. The tree request is within the 995, which requires that, by code, requires that the town consider it and give approval for removing a tree. The tree is, as we have looked at it, it's a healthy tree, but there is concern that it's over their boathouse. We've talked with them. The tree service had recommended that they take it out. Maybe business, it might be the health of the tree. We don't really have a problem with it if the town would agree, as long as they agree to the replanting schedule that we've given to them. So our recommendation would be, if you choose to approve it, to include that replanting.
Do you have any pictures of this?
So replanting another tree in the same place?
No, it'd be in that general area.
All right.
Within
Okay.
the 995.
Perfect.
And I apologize, I don't have pictures. I didn't know I was doing this until Rick was called out.
It's hanging over a boathouse?
No, it's not over,
It could fall
they're
on the
concerned
boathouse.
that it could.
Yeah, if it could fall on the boathouse, there's a lot of those, and I actually applaud people that are proactive, because it could kill somebody if it falls on a boathouse.
Any other questions, discussion? Scott?
I'm fine. says attachments, tree photos from applicant, and I don't see that.
Were they submitted in?
Elba would know that.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with
I
Dave.
apologize for that.
I know a lot of trees that are hanging over boathouses,
Yeah.
hanging over places that, you know, any minute, you just really wonder how it's still actually sitting there.
Yeah, and I wonder if this, like, particular section of Charlotte Drive does have that, you know, that's a steeper slope, that, you know.
I haven't been out to the property.
Yeah, that's
And I
pretty
didn't-
steep.
I didn't get a chance, yeah, I figured it might be within 1 to 2 or maybe 1 to 1.5.
Actually, that whole section of Charlotte Drive, you notice that everyone's putting in new seawalls there. That Charlotte Drive is a problem with
Yeah,
shifting
and,
erosion.
yes, and
So-
that's kind of my concern with the tree like this, especially if, with a boathouse, and somebody could get like really hurt or killed by it.
Good.
So.
You okay?
We're gonna plant another one back, so I'm for that. Yeah.
All right. Your
I'll
recommendation?
make a motion to approve the request to remove the tree in question on
Second?
Charlotte Drive.
Yeah,
All in
second.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Then the recommendation passes unanimously, with that caveat of we're planting another tree.
Thank you,
We'll move
sir.
on. We'll move on to the second item, consider approval of the contract with Odom Engineering for the Morse Park Improvement Design Project. Ms. Stuman?
Yep, Odom Engineering was selected, their bid was selected for the Morse Park Improvement Project. They have submitted a draft contract to us for our review. I reviewed it, Mr. Morgan has reviewed it, we don't see any issues with it. So we do recommend approval. The timeline that we're hoping to achieve is for this design to be done by the end of this year, and then to go out for bid for construction and get that started by March.
Okay.
And Mr. Odom is here if he wants to add anything.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to approve the contract with Odom Engineering for Morris Park. I encourage Dave to do it earlier than later.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, and unanimously, the board approves the contract with Odom Engineering for the Morse Park Improvement Design Project. We'll move on to item C, review the updated workforce housing conceptual site plan.
Thank you for that, by the way. So what we have shown here, and I think what you guys have seen before, this is the latest iteration of the workforce housing plan that we've been working on. We felt after our last meeting that we needed to come back with an option that did not include any impact to the gun area or the gun range, to the landfill, but would still fit within the terrain. Given this constraint, the wells, and the terrain, it's a very small postage-sized area that we're working with. So unfortunately, with this iteration, we lost these two lots here, and we were able to move these multifamily houses down to here. From a terrain standpoint, that works well, because this is sitting on a knoll, and we need to cut that knoll down to be able to build on these lots, so we can use that dirt to fill in there. It'll fit well, so. Now, what I recommend we do is take this as one option and do a cost estimate with it. But let's do another cost estimate with the option we did before and include the remediation.
Yeah.
Under both options, I would recommend, well, under this option, I would even recommend that we include the cost of the remediation plan so we can bid it and get a hard number.
Right.
So, you know, let's say we decide to go with this and we can remediate it and it's not too unrealistic in price.
Yeah.
Then we can pick those two lots up and still pick some multifamily right there. So that's
Okay.
the recommendation that we would give.
Okay.
And I think that's something we've been talking about, is first of all, really getting an estimate, because we just have a ballpark that was posited in 2018, so nobody
Right.
actually knows that.
Yeah, we've talked to a firm already, but we want to get the report from ECS in their hands and get some more feedback from them.
Yeah.
So, any more questions? I mean, I think that's a good idea. We can sort of phase it in, even if we do it this way, if we do the remediation afterwards, we can take advantage of that after it's remediated.
Well, I mean, it's expensive to remediate, you know, based on the estimate that we had before, you know, using the high numbers, which I would certainly use, assuming it's not bid, so we don't know what it is, but let's say it's $500,000. if we have 50 units, it's still only $10,000 per unit out
Yeah,
there. So it
yeah.
can be absorbed within the cost of the project.
Yeah, I got
It's
you.
workforce housing, we're trying to keep the cost down, but still, that's not
Yeah,
unreasonable.
yeah.
And then you solve a problem.
And we have, I've talked to a couple of people, we've talked to a couple of people about from whom we might possibly get a grant to do it. The EPA being one.
Right.
They do that. I talked to Alan Tony today, and we're gonna talk with him more tomorrow, and maybe some other options of someone else paying for it. But irrespective of who pays for it, whether we're gonna build on it or not, I'd rather not have the shooting range there next to the school and the workforce housing.
Well, once these houses go in, we can't use that
Yeah.
for a range
You
anymore, for
can't
sure.
shoot within-
500 feet of a house, you
Right.
can't.
Oh, is it 500?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, that happens in Green Hill all the time, but at my house.
That's green.
Right.
Yeah. Which is interesting, because that makes them inactive ranges, if you can't shoot
Yeah.
there, which means you have to remediate them anyway.
Yeah. And there's
So,
no,
Carl, we gotta look at that, because if you can't shoot next to a house, you can't use that range anymore.
We purposely do qualifications there so that we don't have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
They shoot there so they don't have to remediate.
Exactly. So we
Right.
shoot one building.
I
there,
really
so
don't
yeah.
think, I think we're at the point of,
We
We're
can
gonna
kick this ball.
figure out how to-
We have.
Yeah, how many
but
years
we
have to
were-
figure out how to
that-
do it?
That's
So
not the
we're just,
appropriate place
we're
to
just,
have that,
right.
period.
because you guys have other places you can go, right? Can you go to Rufton or go to Hendo or something to shoot, to qualify?
All frames, not maybe but
But you can go
They
with
go to
that.
Claiborne.
I mean, you guys just go for quality, right? You're just qualifying every year?
Yeah.
But Dave, my point is, we're gonna have to remediate it anyway.
I
Either
think
it goes-
so. I mean, that's kind of what we came through over the last few days.
Okay.
There's
How
no
much
real option
acreage is
here.
that? How many, do you know how many acres that is? Do you, anybody?
It's small.
Just a few.
Yeah,
Does it?
yeah, oh, those small ranges, yeah.
The range is not, it's not an acre, it's small.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never.
So that's why the cost for remediate, it seemed a little high, just.
Right.
Yeah, and
No
it seems
grading
like, it
costs.
seems like,
I think a lot of it is in the storage, the place
The
they have to
disposal,
take it,
yeah, yeah.
the disposal.
yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you
Okay,
very much.
thank you all.
That
Good to see
sounds
everybody.
I think we're all in agreement no matter what.
It's a fantastic step in the right
Figure out
direction.
how to make it
is.
happen.
It absolutely is. Okay,
Do
we
we
will.
have to take action?
Do we need to approve this plan?
I mean,
Yeah, we had a
ask-
recommendation
ask
for a
us to.
motion.
Yeah.
Is it-
Yes, if we're, the only reason I'm hesitating is because we're not exactly sure that's what the plan is going to
Yeah,
be.
and you haven't
Yeah.
talked, you haven't spoke to Mr. Tony in further detail.
Yeah, I think we'll speak with him, and then we'll also go and visit Dogwood Health Trust and Gateway Foundation, and they'll give us some recommendations based on.
Because they might be willing to pay for.
Yeah,
the
right, okay.
Should we,
So you don't want us to approve anything right now? Wait till you get the answers to those questions?
Right,
Or-
That's what I think,
Okay.
because it might not look like this.
sure.
Yeah. Do you have the
It's
table?
it's already changed once.
We can.
Okay, no table, okay.
Okay, we'll move on then to item D, short-term rental advisory board appointments. I'm going to defer to Commissioner Bryant.
Good evening, everyone. We are in the process of facilitating a new short-term rental advisory board that has come to flight. As you know, the STRs are very popular throughout the country, and in North Carolina, the state statute does not disallow you from having them. So we are required to allow them to happen, and in light of that, we want to find some new steps forward for STRs and provide a more enhanced experience for our guests. Consider the aspect about wildlife, recycling and trash remediation, taxes and infrastructure, public safety, talking about for police and for several other items, and then just a more robust opportunity to partner with the community development department through a liaison board so that they can have some support within this to create a baseline for our short-term rental owners in the community. So all the commissioners have compiled a list. We had 11, then 12, then back to 11. So it's kind of a back and forth that we're seeking board appointment. And all the votes were compiled from the commissioners by Mrs. Stewman. And we are providing tonight candidates for the regular position with a term expiring in 2027 based on collective vote. And there is a position of 5 that will serve and a member of the Community Development Department as well. that will be there, and then I will be acting as the liaison for the council. So the 5 that came in full selection, Scott Martin, Jennifer Romaine, Beth Herr, Trace Boswell, and Marlon Mikado are the 5 that have been selected for this board as it stands right now. Communication to the candidates will commence with Elba and Ms. Stuman this week, tomorrow, and into the coming week, and we are trying to isolate the best date that doesn't conflict with the other boards, and the 3rd Wednesday of each month in the AM hours is the target time as of right now. So those will be forthcoming. First meeting probably a month or 2 from now to finalize everything. The July 9th Town Council meeting on page 59 does outline the bylaws and the top 3 goals of the STR board as it stands. If you would like to see those in a little more compact format for what the board's initial goals are going to be. So the July 9th meeting packet will show you those on page 59, and it's on the website. So, yeah. And I'm delighted to begin this new venture and create a new comprehensive plan for STRs.
Thank you very much. I think this is something that our town has really needed, to have a comprehensive agreement in how we address short-term rentals, and certainly very fortunate with, Rolling Ball has really partnered with us. They have a great number of short-term rentals over there too, trying to make sure that we're doing everything the same everywhere in town and as near as possible. So we appreciate, once again, everybody's participation in all the advisory boards. It's a lot of work. This one is going to be starting, anytime you start a new board, it's going to be even more work, because you're going to be talking about policies and things like that. But I think it's going to be very useful to all of us and be very good. Just to remind everybody, one of the things that cannot be reviewed by the Short-Term Rental Advisory Board is whether short-term rentals are allowed in Lake Lure. Short-term rentals are allowed by the state law. So, because that's come up before here, and so that's not one of the things that we'll be addressing, just to let you know that. So that is the remainder of our open session. We're moving to closed session, but we will not be, there will not be anything on the agenda after that closed session, so I wouldn't want you to sit here and wait for us to come back with bated breath. But we appreciate it, as always, your coming, and please continue to enjoy the wonderful refreshments that Ms. Laura Creechy always makes for us. Do I hear a motion to go into closed session?
I will, yes, ma'am. Make a motion to go into closed session in accordance with GS 143-318, TAC 11, Alpha 3 for attorney-client privilege or legal claims.
That's good.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then we will retire to closed session. Do y'all want to take a 5-minute break?
Yeah.
We're going to take a 5-minute break.
What day did he say? First Wednesday?
No.